Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio. Ring Post Radio Nights, in fact. I'm your host, as always, the voice of the tasteless. Where did my freaking thing go? The voice of the tasteless. Yes, that is me, Ryan Knightsey, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing on this fine Sunday night?
I thought you forgot your name for a second there. I was like, this is embarrassing. This is a tough way to start.
Yeah, I had to look at all my memento tattoos to figure out, like, okay, Scotty's the one with the hat, and wait, no, I'm wearing a hat. Who am I? Which one am I?
Yeah. Well, hello everybody. I realized when I pivoted this show to nights, yes, it is my fault. What I realized, Ryan?
What is that?
That April is essentially the month of never doing our show at the normal time. I think there might be one time in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah,
we do it at a normal time.
Next week is 100% going to be on Monday because of Dynasty.
The
13th, I think we're fine.
That's the normal one.
That's the normal one.
After that, we have no idea.
It's gonna be. It's gonna have to be the 21st. There's no way we're gonna do WrestleMania.
Yeah, and then the week after that is Queendom, and I will not be doing it that morning because that will not be healthy for me.
That one, we could do that one later in the day, but I feel like at that point we just do it nights,
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I realized that normal times are not happening. So this is the official warning to the people that listen to the show. If you listen to this live, if you like to listen to us live in the morning, we'll see you on the 13th, and that's it. Otherwise, check Ryan's Blue Sky account for when he doesn't tweet out that we've changed times.
To be fair, I knew it was going to be night, but you didn't tell me what time it was going to be until, I don't know, noon or something. At that point, I should have messaged it out. But hey, you could have tweeted on your account too, my guy.
I was out all day. I haven't touched social media. Things could have happened today, and I wouldn't know.
That's fair.
That's the thing.
Well, the good news is nothing happened today.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I kind of disappear on Sundays. I don't really look at social media. I'm kind of gone. I do this show, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. So, unless I have to watch something, of course.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay. So
now, is that
I could have. I should have.
Is that because you turn into some sort of ghost, or is it just like you're just doing your own thing with your family? Your so-called family that we've never seen. We've never seen your family.
I just enjoy my life one day a week. So
how dare you enjoy your life, sir?
I know.
A service to provide.
Trust me. It takes a lot out of me to enjoy that. I know.
We know you would much rather be tolling away, watching your little Joshis.
I watch it. I have to watch it every other day of the week. I have to watch wrestling every other day of the week. So on Sundays, I like peace and quiet. Okay, sue me.
I will. I have, and I shall again.
And the problem is, baseball's back this week, so I've been watching baseball and doing baseball things. That wasn't today, but I will be. So, life is busy and so on and so forth. He's swung in this 3 times. It's impressive.
Foul
the funny
ball.
part is the funny part is there was no ball and he still missed. Anyways, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk about whatever we're talking about. I've actually admittedly kind of been disconnected from wrestling since Wednesday outside of my little Joshi circle. Mm-hmm. I learned, well, I kind of knew, but I learned that Kevin Knight's officially all elite. Good for him.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Well, we have a lot of contract news this week. We'll talk about,
and that's all I've learned. That's all I've learned. I watch Dynamite now, on Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even ask me when I watch Collision. Don't even ask.
I just assume you
don't know. I do. No, I watch it. I just watch it before. I have to watch it before Dynamite. That is my mindset.
The previous week's Collision or that weekend's Collision?
So the Collision that happened last night, I will watch before Wednesday. As if I watched Dynamite on Wednesday, which makes it very confusing. But.
Yeah, you're nothing if not a confusing man.
Amen, brother. Do you watch Dynamite live?
Yeah.
Every week?
I think I've watched pretty much every single week since October 2019.
Holy, yeah,
There are some time when
that's impressive. A
that
lot of
20
people do, to be
that
fair.
2023 period got real rough, and I got real lazy with it. But there are times like also where it's like, if my wife's not in a good mood or something, then it's like, oh, let me cheer up. Let's watch something funny or fun. You know what I mean?
Cheer up. Let's not put on Dynamite.
Yeah. But it's nice to have for myself almost like to have like that like
Yeah.
2 hours of Wednesday night
Mm.
to myself to a certain
Wednesday
degree.
night fight with
Mm-hmm.
some Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it is spending time. Sometimes we just like hang out with other people. But yeah, for the most part, I've watched Dynamite live every single week since October
That's
2019, baby.
impressive. I literally only asked because I don't know the last time I did watch it live. So I was like, I know you do.
Gotta be 2021, probably.
For me,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Gotta be
probably true.
2021.
That's
Yeah.
probably true. I definitely haven't watched it unless I've been there.
Sure.
But watching it live on TV, because even like most nights I'd watch it on tape delay. So like when I was watching it on Wednesdays, I wouldn't watch it live either.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. But that's
No, go
fine.
ahead. Yeah,
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
everything's fine.
As long as I
Yeah.
watch it before this show.
Yeah, I think for me, it's also nice to have like some live wrestling viewing that I'm enjoying because
Mm,
because we're like, I mean, for me, I guess I'll speak for me, but I know for you as well, we're watching like so much wrestling that there is so much of it that I'm watching delayed as well. And
mhm.
there is a magic to watching live wrestling, just like watching
Yeah,
live sports.
preferable
It's
actually.
preferable in many ways. Just like live sports, except for like I feel like the only difference of wrestling and live sports is that like I don't know. I feel like you're more able to watch wrestling on a delay than,
Yeah, for sure.
and
What?
I don't know why what the
Well,
difference really is.
it's because wrestling fits the perfect middle ground between TV show and sport to me.
Between like entertainment and sports.
Yeah, like sports entertainment, I'd argue. Uh, but I've always felt that way because, like, obviously, if it's a big thing, you want to go unspoiled, so it's kind of like a sports event.
Yeah.
But if it's just like Dynamite, it's like, oh, it's a TV show. I can I can wait and watch it.
I
You
think that
know?
yeah, like Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, like any of those things you
Yeah.
can watch delayed because of the TV aspect. But there are definitely things like
Mm.
uh I mean
Any
I
major
get that
show.
I get that more of like New Japan for sure, where it's like
Yeah, you watch that unspoiled a lot.
yeah, or at least I'll try really hard. Like if
They'll
there's
take
like
away from it for you if you
uh,
don't.
or even like I think it's most of like Japanese wrestling because I know for a fact I'm not going to watch that live, and knowing I'm going to watch it delayed, and I have to do everything in my power to not get spoiled. Like
Yeah.
there was a all Japan Triple Crown title match this weekend
Oh,
between Kento and Jun Saito. It was fine. It wasn't as good as their not their one last year, but their
being told a Kento match is fine, not helping the case for All
no,
Japan and me.
yeah, that's fair. It
Okay.
wasn't as good as the Champion Carnival final last year.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's because they didn't want to go full out because the Champion Carnival I think is starting next week, or this upcoming week, I believe.
oh, who knew?
So I knew, and many listeners of Jumping Knee Pod, of course, knew as well here on the Count On
Keep
Network.
plug, shouts out.
But yeah, I think that like especially like stuff like that, even when it's like All Japan or New Japan, especially for the New Japan, if it's like the New Japan Cup finals or like G1 Climax final, anything like that,
Yeah.
where it's like I have to be off. I remember distinctly like my wife wanted to go on a hike the day of Wrestle Kingdom. And I was like, sure. And we went on a hike. And like the entire time I was like, I can't be on my phone because I know it was Wrestle Kingdom and I have to wait until I go home and watch all of this. So it's tough.
Damn.
It's tough.
He made sure to save Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr.
It was no, this was like 2 years ago or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But it was tough.
It's funnier to think about if it was this year.
Yeah, I had to do the crazy thing of paying attention to my wife and Mother Nature on a hike.
I'm really good at not looking at my phone to begin with. So as people who contact me may know. Um, as I'm yelled at in my everyday life that I don't respond to messages.
Yeah.
So it's not as hard for me. I think I'm professionally trained at this point. If I want to not get spoiled, I'm not going to get spoiled. That's the life of being a Japanese wrestling fan at the end of the day.
I think that's fair. Well,
And that's psychology of wrestling with, or sorry, psychology of watching wrestling with Scott and Ryan. See you next week.
all right, we got a lot of stuff to get to. Not really a lot of stuff, but definitely things I know that are going to take up a crap ton of time, and that is, of course, AEW Dynasty
We love
next
crap ton.
week. I love a crap ton directly. Never mind. AEW Dynasty next week. Sakura Genesis for New Japan also next week. Big show. Plus a little like some sprinkling of title matches and interesting matches up to Sakura Genesis as well that we'll preview. But yeah, there's also a bunch of contract news we'll talk about as well. So I guess we'll start off with the contract news. Some quick hitters. Baseball season's around the corner.
It's not around the corner. It's now.
Foul ball. So we'll start off there. You talked about already Kevin Knight. That was probably the most recent news we got. Kevin Knight formally has signed with AEW. He obviously used to be, I guess he still could, but was a New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler. I don't think he ever got a formal contract from them. They never offered him a formal contract. That's a whole nother conversation, obviously, about Bushiroad and non-Japanese talent. But he worked with New Japan. He was a two-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion with Kushida, the International Jet Setters. A guy that obviously he's 28 years old, has a crap ton of potential, a literal crap ton of potential. And yeah, I think it's really cool to see a guy like him getting picked up. Obviously, if you're a New Japan fan, you would want to see him stick around in New Japan, and I think that's fair. But alas, Bushiroad apparently didn't want to see him stick around, so there are no contract.
I gotta be that guy. I gotta be that guy real quick.
Go for it.
To the New Japan fans on this one. Blame your company, especially on this one. You know, not Kevin Knight's fault. Yeah, everyone has seen it. I feel like every time he gets his one or two big matches a year in New Japan, everyone's like, they gotta push this guy, and then they proceed to give him a tag title reign that lasts a month, and then that's it. So,
I agree.
In terms of AEW, I think there are two ways to look at this. There's the way I'm going to look at it, and there's the overall overarching mindset of the pundits per se, which is how many wrestlers do you need type thing, right? Everyone talks about, oh, if you're not signing game changers, then what are you doing type thing, you know? And my argument here is that Kevin Knight can be
a game GCW wrestlers. Can I sign GCW wrestlers? That's what you're saying?
Nope. Don't say that. He can be, right? This is a guy that has all the potential in the world to be something. And to me, that is the signing here. They see that, they're aware of that. There's a reason that Kevin Knight was getting interest from both AEW and WWE. He makes a lot of sense here. I think there's obvious potential avenues to put him that allow him to grow, and rather than fall in line and maybe to the back of the line and maybe off TV. You don't that's the number one thing always, right? When you get signings like this, as opposed to the big wrestler signings that are, main eventers previously or something from like WWE or New Japan. This is a very unique one where I think we all know Kevin Knight's potential. We all believe in Kevin Knight's potential. And now we would like to see it actually capitalized on in a company. I think it's a very good signing for AEW. You and me talk about it all the time, like future stars in AEW. Who are they? Kevin Knight can be one of them. So I'm excited. I think this is the place he will shine the most. I'm hopeful that he does shine here. And yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for what he can bring to the table, because unfortunately, I don't think New Japan was ever going to give him the shot he deserved. So
I think if they were going to give him the shot, they would have given it to him by now, Not to say that like New Japan wasn't hot on him or anything, but like
They
They never gave him a singles title run.
They treat him as a tag wrestler.
Yeah, it's just how it was. And
A
he
junior
also
tag wrestler.
and he did work in TNA for a little bit as well. So can't discount that. But yeah, it's just that's on Bushi Road. That's the
He's
name
not
of the
even
game.
close to his prime yet.
No, nowhere close.
Like that's the thing. He's 28.
Plus,
a wrestler's prime is 35 and on.
He has that foundational New Japan wrestling thing, which is many modern stars have that foundation, which is great. Yep. Fightful Select had some stuff about the WWE side of things for Kevin Knight. They say sources in WWE confirmed that they were interested, and Knight would likely have been slotted into NXT had he signed. One longtime staffer at the Performance Center told Fightful, quote, "I'm not sure what more they needed to see. He wrestled in New Japan, CMLL, AEW, Ring of Honor, MLW, and TNA. There are looks at this guy on every stage but ours. Glad we were at least trying, though." Which I think is so indicative of like how, like, it's so interesting that statement is so interesting because it's like whoever this longtime staff of the PC is that talked to Fightful. I was going to say Shawn Michaels. Is like aware of him working everywhere else, but is also aware that like WWE's process of getting these talent is like nowhere. Like it's like there's some aspect of that isn't like fully working.
Kevin Knight's not the type of guy that needs to do a tryout.
No,
he's obviously still. I will say, like, he is obviously still like. He's so fresh in a way because he hasn't got that opportunity, right? I do say he is different from like a Ricky Starks, for example, who they obviously didn't give him a tryout. They signed him the day he got released. But like he is also not, these newbies that are joining NXT. He is a established wrestler who is capable. Like, yeah, if you want to sign him and put in NXT, that's fine. That's what you do. But you don't need him to try out. That's ridiculous to me. So again, I'm happy he landed where he did. And now I'm just hoping that, and I'm assuming that AEW sees something in him and hopefully puts him in something that isn't just singles babyface guy that wows you every collision, he needs to be more than that. Unfortunately, like Commander was that for a very long time, for example. Obviously, he's now a champion and part of the great tag team. I would like to make sure Kevin Knight doesn't fall into that role, and that's kind of where I'm at with Kevin Knight, because I kind of view him in that Commander signing, right? When Commander was signed, I was like, oh, he could be great. And I think we all know Kevin Knight could be great, so I'd like to see that push that a little bit quicker than and obviously, like, the Hurt Syndicate's teasing, we want to add a new member. He's a guy that even before he even signed with this company, I was like, if they ever wanted a young guy in their faction, that would be pretty great.
Yeah. It's the thing, but at the same time, they also have like Cedric Alexander out there, former member of Hurt Business, that's also available. So that could that could be like an interesting matchup. You just do like throw on Dynamite,
you can put them both in it.
Sure, why not? Why not?
If you want another tag team,
they can go for the Ring of Honor tags.
Yeah, why not? I like the idea of Kevin Knight absolutely doing some Ring of Honor too.
And the Ring of Honor tag champions are
Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Ring of Honor being a thing still very funny. As I will talk about with the AEW Dynasty card, because there is a Ring of Honor championship match, which is funny. But I'm very happy for Kevin Knight, and like I said, he's kind of the guy that you're like, oh, put him in a tag team, put him in a faction, just do something with him right off the rip. That's exciting. Obviously, you could bring in Kushida and do the Jet Setters thing, but I think that's not necessary. I think him going further than that's good.
You could, and that would be interesting.
They'd be good. They're a great tag team.
Yeah, I like the idea of them versus Hurt Syndicate in a tag title match. Like if you had maybe like that could be a fun. If you're going to tease this idea of Kevin Knight joining a Hurt Syndicate, you can have the Intergalactic Jet Setters go for the tag titles at like Double or Nothing, and and then go something from there, because Dynasty's already, we'll talk about Dynasty already. It's already set up there. But that's a fun, interesting idea.
That'd be fun.
Speaking about people that are also headed to AEW, coming from Scotty's neck of the woods, Mina Shirakawa has formally made it through a press conference stated that her is it officially right now come to an end, her time in Stardom.
Her contract essentially ends in a day.
Perfect. So basically as of now, Mina Shirakawa is leaving Stardom and heading straight for AEW. So Scotty, obviously this is all over your neck of the woods with Mina Shirakawa news. Thoughts on her going to AEW, and more so, I think we'll get your perspective here. How do you think that affects Stardom moving forward?
Literally zero. She's essentially been gone for a year. Like, I don't want to sound mean, but like this has been in the works for a year, essentially. Right?
Yeah.
Started with Forbidden Door. She was in the US a lot. She was missing a lot of shows. Every time she came back, it just didn't feel natural. She didn't do anything.
They couldn't
Nothing
really
made
slot her
sense.
back in anything because
Right.
she's going to be gone all the time.
Exactly. So it was like, what are we supposed to do with her? I had said as the year came to an end last year, I predicted she'd sign with AEW because again, she did everything she was ever going to do in Stardom, especially if she was going to keep going back and forth. Obviously she started getting pulled out of shows over the past 2 weeks and everyone's like, "What is happening?" Some people thought she was going to WWE. I was like, "That's not even slightly happening. I don't know why we think that's happening." She's 37 years old, so it's not like she is brand new. She's
Yep.
been around for a long time. She reached her pinnacle in 2023 in Stardom, and this has always been something she's wanted to do. So for me, it's good for both Mina Shirakawa and Stardom. You know, they don't have to try to make things make sense with
Yep.
her and a faction that was nevertheless pretty much non-existent as is and thrown together a year ago as is. So I'm very happy for her. I'm very happy for Stardom. I think this is a good thing. I'm fascinated to see how she does now that she is a full member
Mhm.
of AEW, because obviously it's not a secret. The Joshi wrestlers that actually sign with the company and belong to the company aren't really around, but I think she's so popular and she obviously has the English down. I
Yep.
think she can be one that breaks through. You know, I think she's one that breaks through. I think there's a reason they're signing her is that they believe in her to do that. Um, Obviously she won't be on every week. I'm not insane. She's not Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm, but I'm hopeful for her. At least hopefully for this first year.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think, if you're bringing her in AEW, you literally have the Owen tournament set around
Mhm.
happening right now, about to happen. Throw in that tournament. Um, we'll talk about someone else
Good
that,
way to re-debut.
yeah, a good way to re-debut. There's someone else that I guess we'll talk about that may or may not could also be in that tournament. That could be a defending champion, perhaps. That would be an
Mm.
interesting matchup. I pitched that before as like, you can spin that off into something as well. Yeah, but I think with her, have a nice little re-debut into the Owen. She can even win it as fact, and then that goes on and is the Tony Storm match. Even if the Tony Storm is teasing a bunch of other different ideas as well. But I guess that's part for the course. I am fascinated to see where she goes. I could see her maybe eventually being a champion of what? I don't know. I don't know.
She feels
But
like a ideal TBS champion one day.
sure.
Like, it feels like a fitting one, I
Yeah,
think.
I think she'll be champion one day. I think that's totally fine. And yeah, I mean, like you said, she's 37 years old. This is probably like I don't expect her to get like another big contract. Will she jump to WWE at some point? I don't necessarily like see that sort of thing in the cards, but
Yeah.
but I think I think it's interesting. Her path getting here is obviously interesting, right?
Yeah.
Becoming good friends with Mariah May. Then Mariah May heads to AEW for 2 years. Mina Shirakawa then follows suit. It's interesting that sort of like pathway that is happening.
Yeah.
We talked about it with like New Japan a lot in the past couple of years, and I guess we could talk about it in some regards to Kevin Knight. But this is both happening if you are a Bushi Road stan, let's say. If you're a Bushi Roader, maybe. I don't know if that's the name. Then
Bushi bro, we call it.
Bushi, we as in you, of course. If you are a Bushi bro, then I could see someone
I'm not a Bushi bro.
I can see someone
You know
being
that.
upset because a lot of the conversation around New Japan last year was like, if you're a partner, you should treat your partners with respect and not take all of their top talent, right? And not to say that
Sure.
Kevin Knight or Mina Shirakawa are not top talent, but this is, of course, the relationship with New Japan and Stardom, and you're now taking an unsigned guy in Kevin Knight and someone who is already 1 foot out the door in Mina Shirakawa that you weren't even doing anything with. But some people won't necessarily see the semantics and the context of that. Some people see the tribalism of taking two people from your partners. So,
Yeah.
do we have anything to say to that? Like, I'm not really seeing that online too much, but I fear that that's like that. It's just going to continue that sort of thought process.
It feels like it's situational to me. I've always treated it situational. When you sign away the big main event players and actively hurt a company, it's one thing. But when wrestlers want to make the move, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, this is Mina wanting to make the move. So that's what happened. Mina wanted to make the move, and she did. Kevin Knight, honestly, there was maybe a possibility he would have stayed with New Japan, but it just never seemed like they wanted to give him that full-on deal where he'd be there, right? Like, he was always
when WWE and AEW starts calling, you're like, all
right.
right, I'm going to hear them out. And then he probably went back to New Japan and said, hey,
Right.
would you like to give me a contract?
Right. I mean, I treat this the same as I treated Julia when it comes to Mina. Obviously Julia accomplished a lot more, but both wrestlers became stars. And both wrestlers became stars that America wanted to see. So again, I don't have a problem with it. It's if you start if you start signing a handful of them in short order, it's like, okay, this is a problem. But like, again, as long as AEW is not taking like Yota Tsuji like tomorrow, right? Because that would be backbreaking to New Japan. As much as I love Kevin Knight, that's not backbreaking.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that's when people are going to create a fuss. The same goes for Mina Shirakawa, who again 1 foot out the door. It's why when I talk about the Stardom aspect of this, they don't really change at all. Yes, you lose a star for like international purposes, but they have a lot more they have their biggest star probably leaving at the end of the month. Like, that is a bigger deal than Mina Shirakawa right now.
What's interesting about that though is that, like, I'm just going to use this as part of the example. Imagine if like Mayu Iwatani goes to like AEW, let's say, just as part of this example. Like, it almost, even though Mayu Iwatani is one of the biggest stars for Stardom, there is a quality to that signing that would be in line with Mina Shirakawa. It's like, well, she was champion, I guess, but I don't know, she wasn't really a part of anything. It feels like to me in the past year.
That would be a bigger deal in various other reasons, because that would just be shocking.
Yes. It's shocking because of Mayu Iwatani would be like the Okada signing, where it's like, the big name, but like Okada was also being like shuffled down slightly.
Sure. Yeah, we live in a time where I'll just say the next 2 months for Joshi, and I think it started this week, are kind of scene changing 2 months dramatically. I've been kind of teasing it. I've been saying it. Mina's exit is the beginning of it, and it's going to keep going for the next 2 months. A lot of change is happening, especially for Stardom. Mina gone, which leaves the original 3 Cosmic Angels down to 1 in that company, and there's a good chance the big one is retiring. And then obviously the Nai's retiring, Mako's retiring, maybe something else is happening. But we'll wait and see there. But in terms of AEW, again, it makes sense for them. We are watching them in real time put the most focus they ever have on a women's division. They have loaded the Owen Cup like never before. It is name after name after name on the women's side so far. And you're seeing genuine excitement
Yep.
led by, of course, Mercedes Moné. So good for Mina, good for Kevin Knight. If you're mad about it, that's fine. If you're a Bushi bro, but listen, one of them wanted to do this, like this was their next step dream, and the other didn't ever really, I think, get the attention he deserved in his company. And his contract is up. People were interested in him. You take those calls. You're not gonna be like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather work on this per date type thing. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Speaking of people that I don't really have a transition, but people that we know for a fact are leaving AEW, we have one yes and one maybe. Who knows? Yes, being Saraya, obviously formerly known as Paige. She's officially left AEW. I think she has said that it's on a mutual decision. There was like no place for her really in AEW. But she is gone. Yeah, that is correct.
She is still on the roster page, by the way. While
Hilarious.
Kevin Knight just was added.
Hilarious. Again, these moments of like they just add people and they don't fix anything else.
The Bucks are finally not champions anymore.
I wonder if that probably got updated in the past week.
Yeah.
So Saraya, I'm not bending over backwards upset. I don't think anyone really is about Saraya. Someone that she even admits there's no spot for me in this company. Can she go somewhere else? Will she pop up in another company?
Yes.
I don't know. I could see maybe. Will she pop up in WWE? Will she just go back to the Euro Indies? I don't know. But WWE always seems like a Legends deal type thing. That I could always see that. Do you have any sort of thought about where Saraya may go, if anywhere?
She'll have another match in WWE. At least one.
There's a women's pay-per-view coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. Getting announced.
I think it was silly last year when they re-signed her. I still think it was silly. I thought it was unnecessary when her contract came up and she said, "Oh, I re-signed." I was like, "Why? Why are they doing this? This doesn't make sense." And a year later, we look at it, it indeed did not make sense. I think she wrestled one match after that contract re-sign. Like that was the Saraya booking was always bad. There was never really a good moment of Saraya.
Awkward from the jump.
Yeah, like they gave her a world title reign that no one really cared for or asked for or wanted. It took a long time. Like she was part of the bad part of the division, truthfully. So yeah, it's fine. They're both going their own way. We are in a time, like I just said, where the women's division AEW is getting more focused, has more excitement than probably ever before. That's a good thing. Saraya indeed did not belong there anymore, and that's okay.
There is this aspect of like we never got that. I don't think we ever got that Saraya Mercedes Moné match.
Darn, what a shame.
Well, there's just the lore of it all. Of it was that match that got Paige re-injured, if we recall.
Yeah, that's true. That lore would go just as well as CM Punk making Young Bucks jokes in WWE. No one would care.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying that what if instead we we call up Andy from Rev Pro and we book Saraya versus Mercedes Moné for the South Side Women's Championship.
If they want that match, go for it.
She's popped up
in
Rev Pro before.
Do it at the anniversary show.
Yeah, why not?
If that's something they both want, go right ahead.
Well, speaking of people that may want something, that's a terrible transition. Mariah May.
Oh, bad transition.
There are reports of Mariah May allegedly having her contract up this year by the end of summer. So she's not going to be gone anytime soon. She may even still wrestle at like the Owen or something, like I alluded to earlier. If it's not till the end of summer, she might even make it to All In Texas. She probably will. But there's these rumors floating around that her contract is up by the end of summer. So Scotty, what do you think about that? If let's say the rumors are true, and she is heading. Would you like, and if the rumors are true and her contract's going up, would you like to see her re-sign with AEW and stick around? Would you like to see her pop up in WWE? Would you like to see her pop up in Rev Pro or MLW or back in Stardom even?
Never, ever want anyone to pop up in Rev Pro or MLW. So, first of all,
we'll take that off the table.
Mariah May is a very interesting one. Because if I was Mariah May, and maybe people may not like this, I would be making the jump. People may not like that, but she essentially has hit her absolute peak already. You know, like that story with Tony Storm, no matter how you feel about it, it ended in a way that is a bright spot, obviously, a very big bright spot. For her, for Tony, for the title. And she has built her stock probably as high as it's going to be, at least for now, right? If she signs a new, presumably like 5-year deal, because if she was on 2, she's going to be offered 5 now, because that's how these contracts work. The shock is she was on a 2-year deal to begin with. But if she's getting an offer to 5-year deal in AEW, how many opportunities do you think she will really have to reach the top again? Right? We are seeing this entire company, this division specifically, really get overloaded almost for the first time ever. Not overloaded in a bad way, but in a good way right now, right? People have talked about Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale being world champion for 2 years. They still haven't done it. I don't see a path for Mariah May to get back there anytime soon. For her, if she makes the jump to WWE, they are going to push her as a star, and she is going to be a star. I think, and again, I like 2-year contracts because, as you and me talked about this week, it creates an ability for change to happen in wrestling, which makes things more fun.
I would love more 2-year contracts because, I completely agree. I think she has elevated her stock significantly being in AEW. Like you said, whether or not you liked the story, the entire length of the story, like I've said on the show in the past, I think your mic skills were very weak, a lot weaker than they needed to be. I thought a lot of the story, especially her title reign specifically, was a lot of hamster wheel and a lot of just not really of anything. I think she, and frankly, I think she was quite disappointing right until the very end, right? Not even fourth quarter, but like a buzzer beater of a great shot there at the very end of the final ending or the last ending, whatever it's called. But yeah, so to me, it's like you got someone that's like good, but like a disappointment, I think, in a lot of regards, at least in my opinion, who has elevated her stock to the point where I would think WWE would be interested in her. WWE is right now in the PR move, especially of wanting to pick up former AEW people and bring them over. They did that with Sean Spears. They did that with Ricky Starks. They did that with Ethan Page. They did that with Cody. They did that with Brian Pillman. But they're doing that right now. They're in the moment of taking AEW people to win the PR move of the tribalism, right? That is their play. Even if it would be a good idea or not, they would rather take Mariah May from AEW, quote unquote, than pick up Kevin Knight. At the end of the day, that is how I feel about that. Even if I think Kevin Knight would be a better pick, in my opinion. I don't know how old is Mariah May. I feel like she's probably a similar age.
She's very young,
26, even younger than Kevin Knight. But even then, I don't know how much Kevin Knight might work. I don't know if I've seen much in might work from Kevin Knight. Either way, I think there she would actually work maybe even better in the WWE system. And I think it'll be a good move. And look, if she signs, like if they want to sign her for like another 2-year deal or something in NXT or whatever, then look, raise your stock again and then bounce back to AEW. Do what they did in the old territory days. Do what they did in the old territory system of bouncing back and forth, because then you can constantly keep your stock in play. This is how it worked back in the day. You go in, you do a story. As soon as your stock starts to fall, you bounce over to the other company. You work there for a little bit. Let Mariah May be the modern day Sid Vicious. Let her play softball every once in a while.
Sure, why not?
But just have her bouncing back and forth because and do a 2-year story with her so that you can she'll be gone, then she can re-up that stock every once in a while. It's not a terrible idea. I think it would actually behoove her. And honestly, like we talked about already, it's like I don't really know what more AEW could do with her. There are ideas we could do. We can do the Mina thing again. We can do a Megan Bain thing. If you want to do more of a Stardom connection. There are other people in the roster that she has not interacted with.
Obviously.
Yeah, like there are so many other people we have not interacted with. So there are obviously potential avenues. It's just a matter of, is this something we would want to explore? And yes and no, it doesn't really matter. I think there's other people to pick up than her.
I mean, I'll say this. If I'm AEW,
one last point. And to your point earlier, there are other people in the women's roster that I would want to push now over Mariah May. So
sure,
I would focus on that instead.
I will say this. If I'm AEW, I absolutely try to keep her. I think it would be very I don't think it'd be very smart to just let her go. I've watched them let people go, and it doesn't go. Sometimes it does not work out for them. But yeah, it's a very interesting time because, like, while the division feels stacked in terms of like, oh, this person should be champion, it's still not like the depth is right at the perfect point now where it feels like you're plugging in different people each and every week, and it's exciting. But Mariah May is still an established name, still a world champion in this company, part of the longest told women's story in this company.
That's true.
And for many, the best. Not that there's a lot to pick from. So like that's the battle. That's the battle here. What is better? What makes the most sense to me? If I'm AEW, I try to keep her. If I'm WWE, I try to sign her. She's gonna get paid a lot of money either way. Yep. And if the deals are close, I think she jumps.
I tend to agree with you. One last bit of contract news, and this was a doozy, of course, from this week. And it was in regards to TNA and their behind-the-scenes staff. First reported by Fightful. This is written up by Joseph Courier from F4W Online. First reported by Fightful, TNA sent out an internal email on Tuesday announcing that Gail Kim, Ariel Scherner, Rob Killigman, and Michael Shevchenko. God, these are all over the place last names.
I gotta say, you are out of this world of pronouncing names.
I do my best.
One of one.
Are departing the company's senior leadership team. Of those four, Kim, a TNA Hall of Famer, one of the top wrestlers in company history, is the best known to fans. She had been working in talent relations for TNA. The other big name I would be want to point out is the Ariel Scherner. It's Shnerner. Scherner. It's very difficult. Was the senior vice president of content distribution and marketing for TNA's parent company Anthem, and has been overseeing TNA's creative following the firing of Scott D'Amore in early 2004. I pulled up last year all this news regarding Scott D'Amore leaving, what the new creative was. PWInsider.com has confirmed that this is from last year, that Ariel Scherner will be overseeing all TNA content going forward and will be working in conjunction with the new TNA president, Anthony Ciccone. It will be Scherner who will have the last word on any talent and creative decisions, although Ciccone will be at the top of the pyramid. Scherner is the former general manager, yada, yada, yada. So basically, this is more creative shakeup in some capacity. Maybe less of a creative shakeup and more of a condensation, a condensing, I should say, of the creative. Plus, you have someone in Gail Kim who is really loved in that locker room. And look, say what you will about Scott D'Amore, but he also was really loved in that locker room, and you sort of saw the fallout of what it was with Scott D'Amore leaving that company. And the sort of big stars that started leaving after that company throughout the year. And And now you have someone like Gail Kim, another person that's beloved in that locker room, beloved in TNA backstage, who is also heading out the door. PWI Insider also reports, this is now present day, that former ROH booker Hunter Johnson, this is Delirious, will now be the head of creative. Tommy Dreamer will head talent relations and remain on the creative team, with both Johnson and Dreamer reportedly directing to TNA president Carlos Silva. The thing I read earlier gave a different name of Anthony Cyclone as the TNA president, so I don't remember if they switched over during the middle of the year or what happened there. But anyways, there's a new head of creative, and it's Delirious from former ROH. So, Scotty, what do you think about Gail Kim and these backstage people and the sort of condensing of talent in the TNA creative side? And what do you think about the rise of Delirious once again and getting that pencil for another company?
As much things change, they stay the same. And that comes with TNA being incredibly stupid at all times. Like they just, it doesn't matter who's running the company. It's inevitable within this company that something inexcusable, I think is the word, in terms of firings happens. Firing Gail Kim is idiotic. Like it was one of those things that I saw and I was like I know you're TNA, but really? My first thought was if you're AEW, you go and get her and you make her your top women's wrestling agent instantly. That was my first thought.
First thought, best thought.
First thought, best thought. She can have one more match too in AEW against like I actually did think about this. I was like, her versus Mercedes is kind of like a very big deal because while Gail Kim doesn't get that respect, I think by the entire wrestling audience, I think anyone that knows is she's kind of like a very big deal and really sparking again a women's revolution that while WWE takes much credit for, and you know, I think Mercedes deserves some credit for sure, a lot of credit for. Gail was really early in that as part of the knockouts division that really was kind of a game changer for American wrestling. So that was the first thing I thought when I saw she was fired. I was like, if I'm AEW, I'm calling her instantly. I'm getting her in the door. I'm making her the head coach, agent, whatever of the women's division. And you kind of maybe work to one cool match too for her that, you know, because she doesn't wrestle anymore, but she's never had an official send off. And I think she's someone that deserves one. But mostly to be a coach more than anything. But I liked the idea of like that, you know, big deal in the women's revolution here in the US kind of match between those two.
Speaking of that, of like, even if you don't want to have her doing coaching, if you also want to bring her as talent relations, I know that's Christopher Daniels' job, right? But it's someone that is let go, who is part of the talent relations group, and you see this massive outpouring specifically from the talent, that tells me that the talent liked her, working with her, that she was probably good at her job of keeping the talent happy, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm bringing her in no matter what. I don't care what the job is, honestly. You just bring her in. The same goes.
If her job is to make the talent happy, she apparently nailed it. You know.
To be fair, if you're WWE, you should be trying to do the same. But instantly, my thought was AEW, do that now ASAP. But yeah, TNA stinks, and the fact that Delirious is a head booker again is absurd to me. Delirious run ROH is not good.
Well, hold on. He brought in a lot of lucha guys. Now, granted, he doesn't have CMLL. He has AAA at this point. But you and I did have fond memories of that lucha division.
Yeah, but he had CMLL.
Great point.
Great point. Have that.
Now, he had CMLL with Bandito, but was who the hell were the?
He's better than Tommy Dreamer. Okay, I will say that.
What was the other guy? Dragon Azteca Jr. That's not his name. That's his lucha.
I mean, they are booking like Octagon right now.
Octagon Jr.
Like Laredo Kids. So, how long has he had the pencil? You know, he might have been starting this early. You never know.
He's been.
I saw Chavo Guerrero was wrestling the other day. Yeah. That was mind blowing to me. He looked good.
Delirious has been in the company since Ring of Honor went under. Remember, when all that Ring of Honor people shuffled over, he was one of those people. And you know,
He's the only
even
one that stayed.
yeah, well, even in that PWI Insider thing I read earlier about, you know, the things that have happened a year ago, Delirious was one of the people that got named of like, oh yeah, he's now helping out with creative.
So
You
now
know,
he's just head.
yes, the existing TNA creative team a year ago was Tommy Dreamer, Artie Evans, who eventually left, and Delirious, who remain in place and continue to work as they did prior to Morris' departure. So it is like it is again like Delirious was like, oh yeah, I'm now part of the creative team, and now he's the head of it. It's crazy. That is crazy to me. That's almost delirious to me.
That's falling up.
Yeah, it's falling up. It
It's
is falling up for sure.
I
But I
mean,
mean,
good for him. You know, he's like the least important part of what TNA did this week. Really, to me, like, oh, great, he's the replacement.
agreed. The Gail Kim of it all is the worst part of it all.
Yeah, for sure. While they still employ Tessa Blanchard, by the way. Yeah, so there's that as well. Yeah, this is a company that is not great.
It's just the continuation of last year where Anthem.
I
Well, I'm not saying this is related. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
like the Anthem gets in bed, or not Anthem, I guess. So TNA gets in bed with WWE, and then so many behind the scenes people start leaving or getting fired. And I'm not saying that that's related. I'm just saying that like it's a lot of payroll and expenses that you are shuffling off your books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're making your thing cheaper to a certain degree. And you're not really signing any more people. I think they just signed like a Euro woman.
Maggie Lee.
Yeah.
And then like Mance Warner have been their signings this year.
Yeah. So and they've also they've let go a lot of wrestlers as well, and some people walked. Jordan Grace, Mike Bailey, Josh Alexander, presumably, PCO famously.
Oh well, they did sign Tessa.
I guess they did sign Tessa, Mance Warner, and a bunch of indie people we've never heard of.
Which, to be fair, is what they should be doing with the indie people.
Agree. I certainly agree with that. But
sorry, they signed Elijah.
Oh yes, how can we forget? Yeah, but
the Colognes?
Did they officially sign the Colognes?
I don't know. I just know they're there, which is crazy.
But yeah, ultimately, I think it's this thing of they're really trying to appeal to WWE fans, and by making their expenses behind the house cheaper, I wonder if I don't know, just my conspiracy hat tells me that I wonder if they're trying to appeal to WWE in other ways, not just in their fandom. But I guess that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I moved on from TNA for a reason.
Well, let's move on from TNA
as
a topic.
God, Rebellion looks awful.
well, I guess maybe we'll talk about it next week or 2 weeks from now. No, it's at the end of the month.
It's not until the 27th, and I really don't want to talk about it. It's probably just going to get worse.
Oh, perfect. Let's talk about AEW Dynasty. Now, this is a big time pay-per-view happening in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Liacouras Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Tickets sold. I think they've sold pretty much everything that they're set up for. Wally Weir in the chat. Maggie Lee is from the U.S. Midwest. Is your Euro woman another wrestler? I think it was. I think it was another wrestler, Wally.
They do have Danny Luna, but I don't think you mean her.
No, there I think there was like a Euro woman wrestler that had like curly pink like mohawk hair. I think they signed her. I'm not positive.
Oh, I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is, but I kind of have. I don't know.
She did like a tryout, and that's how Leanne Slater came into the company. And I think that she also did well in that tryout, and then they finally hired her. I think. I don't remember her name, so I can't look it up. Anyways, AEW Dynasty, I believe last time I saw, they have pretty much sold everything that they're set up for, which is really nice. They're in the Liacouras Center, so I don't know what their setup is, but presumably this is a smaller arena for Dynasty. We don't have a 0-hour card yet, and we only have 5 matches announced in front of me. I'll double check actually
I admittedly only know 2 of them.
Well, perfect. I'll catch you on to a couple of them.
I don't know if perfect's the word.
Yes. Wikipedia has 6 matches. I don't know what one they are missing. Oh, I see what they're missing. Yeah, so we'll just go off this one. So yes, Dynasty is happening next week on Sunday, April 6th, in Philadelphia. Scotty, let's go through the card now, and let's
You said
talk
there's
about it.
5 matches total?
6 matches. I don't know if it's been formally
okay.
announced yet, but there's a 6 match that are leading up to. And honestly, I think they did this last year where they had a couple Owen Hart Cup matches start
That
at
seems to be what
Dynasty.
they're doing, right?
So I would imagine we'll get that as well. And well, I guess in that regard, we'll talk about that now. I guess we'll talk about the Owen Hart Cup. We'll get we'll get the tournament bracket revealed on Dynamite this Wednesday for both the men's and women's. And then we will get the brackets as well for what that is. So presumably there will be a match. The people that have announced so far, according to Wikipedia, in the men's bracket, Will Ospreay, Adam Page, and Jay White. In the women's bracket, Mercedes Moné, Athena, Billy Starks, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Thunder Rosa. Pretty good. Those are pretty good, Scotty. Is there any of those? Obviously, you would want to know more people, but if you had to pick between Ospreay, Adam Page, Jay White, and Monet, Athena, Starks, Hayter, Statlander, and Rosa, well, who would you like to have a match at Dynasty?
Well, I feel like a lot of those aren't first round matchups. That's fascinating. 3 people from the men's is crazy. I can't even give. I'm sure it's gonna just be like Will versus someone, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
maybe Hangman versus someone.
Will Ospreay
because-
versus Kevin Knight?
Sure, why not?
Throwing Kevin Knight? Why not?
Put him on a pay per view. Let him shine.
not?
I'm thinking. I do know that, for example, like Mina won't be there yet, because her last Japan show is next weekend. I have Willow have him. Well, maybe it's Willow and Marina Shafir in some way. I don't know. You're probably gonna do 2 tournament matches.
What
right?
if you did Mercedes Moné versus Athena at Dynasty?
They're not gonna. Don't do that on 1 week.
But that could be the kickoff to their match eventually. Let's say at All in Texas for the title.
Feels like they should be working to the breakthrough show in Boston.
Well, they could also still do that. Are you saying that because you want to see it live, or are you saying that because that's what they should do?
I mean, that'd be pretty cool, but I feel like that's like very clearly where they want that first match to be.
What if I pitched you Dynasty match 1, Boston match 2, All in Texas match 3?
That's 2 matches in a 2-week span.
Where's the problem? What's the problem here?
Athena hasn't been on AEW television in 2 years. Now she's gonna face Mercedes twice in that short of a span. Well, that wouldn't make sense because the tournament would still be going on.
Yeah, that's probably true. That is true.
I don't know. My head's in a blender here. Put Willow in a big match. For the love of God.
Willow versus Chris.
Big match.
Willow versus Chris yet again.
Fuck yeah. Who's gonna say no to that after the last one? I don't know. Maybe not a regular match. I do like Athena and someone. I don't know. It's Mercedes, probably. What am I kidding? Mercedes is gonna be on the pay-per-view if anyone's gonna get a pay-per-view first round match.
You just do Mercedes and Chris Stat again.
Because to me, Mercedes and Athena should probably like go to a draw.
Ooh, that's fun.
Because
why not? Why not? Just
you don't want to beat them. Well, you can do that there, I guess. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to beat either of them. And you don't want either challenging for the world title, presumably, because that feels like the all-in match, which I don't know. I didn't even know the Owen was starting yet. This is all a slap in the face. I knew people were saying like, "Hey, I'm in," but like my brain didn't compute that like, oh, this is probably ending at Double or Nothing.
Well, this is conjecture. I'm not entirely positive that it's starting at Dynasty. I just know that they're announcing the brackets on Wednesday, and I should check to see if they did this last year. I want to say they did.
Well, they didn't because they probably started at Double or Nothing because All In was in August last year. They started early this year.
Yes.
Because All In is in July.
Yes. I think you're
So
correct.
there you go. There you go. Look at me knowing. No one thinks.
Then maybe they started at Double or Nothing or something like that. I think they started at a
What I
paper.
said.
Yeah.
I
Well,
said
I wasn't paying attention. I was reading.
Well, whose fault is that? Not mine.
I
mean, Osprey's definitely getting his first round match on the show because he has yet to miss a pay per view.
I agree. So we'll see who it is.
What if they put him against Kyle Fletcher?
I would say no. What if they? I mean, who would? I mean, there's got to be. I would say I like the idea of Kevin Knight. I think that could be really fun. Legitimately, I think that would be very fun. Because he would give Kevin Knight a really great match. 100%.
For what it's worth, they did not do one on Double or Nothing last year.
Okay, maybe they didn't do it at all. Maybe I'm.
They did an IWGP World Heavyweight Title match though.
Oh, okay, then let's do that. Call up Goat. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about Sakura Genesis. Call up Goto. Call up David Finlay. Bring him back. Run back.
This is the same show that Adam Copeland broke his leg.
Let's run back Adam Page versus David Finlay, baby. Remember that? Does anyone else remember that? I think about that every once in a while for some reason. Anyways, let's talk about AEW Dynasty. Speaking of Adam Cole breaking your leg, AEW TNT title match has been announced here. Adam Cole challenging Daniel Garcia yet again. This time, no time limit, no outside interference allowed. I believe the first time they did this, the Shane Taylor Promotions got involved. The second time they did this, they got to a time limit. So here we are. It's the third one for the TNT title. That's all happening. And now it's Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole for the pay-per-view.
Sounds like a threat. No time limit for these two.
They're gonna go an hour.
Like that sounds like a threat, man. I don't know about you.
How much Adam Cole wrestling am I watching?
They should be having a 15-minute match. That's what they should be having. The time limit should not matter. That is terrifying to think about. I do not need. I think Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia have had a fine little feud here. I don't think it needs to go like that long.
Well, the problem is that the time limit, previously was 20 minutes. So they have to go more than 20 minutes just by that stipulation alone, That
will make the match bad.
They should. They're promising to me. They are promising this match to be 20 to 30 minutes long. It could be like 20 minutes and 10 seconds for all I know, but like I don't know, 25. Let's say a 25-minute match, Adam Cole versus Garcia.
Yeah, they should do the thing that Utami and Shuri did when they made a big deal about going the extra, and then they just wrestled under 30.
I agree with that. That was
like that's oh, we're beating the time limit, no time limit, and then they go like 13 minutes. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be better. That would be better for both of them. I don't want to see either of these two wrestle each other past 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Who wins?
I don't know.
Probably Garcia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm fine with Garcia winning, and then I would rather have Garcia win and then spin Undisputed into the trios title division. I think that would be fun. Like we've mentioned it before, that like you and I are more fans of Strong, O'Reilly, and Cole than just like singles Cole. Yeah, singles Strong. I think I'm a more bigger fan than the three of them altogether.
It feels like Ricochet should be beating Garcia.
Yeah, I would be fine.
Just like Ricochet's in the wrong match.
I can agree with that. That makes sense to me as like as the next matchup at Double or Nothing or something like that.
Yeah, that would work. So yeah, I think Daniel Garcia should in fact beat Adam Cole.
Yes, just so we get something else for Garcia.
And I'd prefer trios Adam Cole anyways. I thought they should have won the trios belts to begin with. So
yeah. Well, let's talk about that other match you mentioned, AEW International Championship match. This, of course, came about with the International Championship Eliminator Tournament, where we got a tie between Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. So that makes it a 3-way for the title against Kenny Omega. Scotty, thoughts on Mike Bailey, Omega, and Ricochet duking it out? The newlywed Ricochet duking it out for the International Championship.
Guess it was too much to ask for a Kenny Omega singles match.
Apparently. Well, look, Ricochet was in the wrong match. You got to put him somewhere. he's
I
a
guess.
stop act.
I guess that's true. I mean, it should be great. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it won't be. So I did watch Dynamite before the show.
Brag.
And and this was the first time I heard Mike Bailey cut a promo.
I would love to know what you thought of this.
Not a fan.
No, he's bad. When he came out with the microphone, and then he stood in the ring, I was like laughing, and I was turning to Jesse, and I was like, they are about to have him cut a promo. I think I've only seen him talk in TNA maybe twice, and it was both backstage promos where they could edit it. They're giving him a live microphone. It's like, this guy can't talk. And then he couldn't talk because that's not what he does. He can't talk.
No,
and then he just stood there awkwardly while Kenny Omega did his shit.
Yeah. It was awkward. I was like, I don't know, guys. He was always a weird signing to me because, like, I know he's a good wrestler, blah, blah, blah. But like, the whole package. It's why you pitched him in a tag team. You know?
Yes. That's why I came up with the crazy idea. Let's put him in a tag team. Let's just do Team Canada. People want Scott D'Amore. Let's do Scott D'Amore as the mouthpiece. You know, like let's just do that. I pitched let's put Speedball into the Don Callis family for fun, right? Because like he needs a mouthpiece because he can't talk.
He would have probably This was the first time I listened. I was like, nope, we're good. I'm good. Like Kenny was just like making pops about his cat, like, and that was over and stuff. And I was like, okay, sure.
Popping me.
It feels like the opposite of Ricochet, where everyone's like, oh, Ricochet can't promo, and then Ricochet proved everyone wrong. I don't think I'm going to get proven wrong here. That being said, the match itself, which
but
is
also,
what matters.
That being said, maybe a heel Mike Bailey could figure that
could
out.
Work. He feels more like, I don't know, just I don't know, the way he spoke and stuff. Whatever. Kenny wins, obviously. That would be booking malpractice to have him lose.
Of course.
Who does he pin?
I think if you pin
guy Bailey, like me, he could just pin Speedball. Like, I don't think it's a big deal.
I agree. I think Speedball.
But why is Ricochet here? Because to me, Speedball versus Kenny as the big, like, first big time Speedball match would have been fine.
I agree, and I almost think like if you pin Ricochet, then you can do the singles match on like Dynamite. You know, just be like, that could be fun. But I also think like Speedball just coming to this company, winning kind of the tournament. You know, he can lose here, and it's not really going to affect him too much because there's not much starting of the momentum, anything. Whereas I don't necessarily think you want to do that with Ricochet. That being said, Ricochet just got married. He just got wedded, right? So maybe he
have a little time off.
You can pin him, give him some time off. He can go on his honeymoon, yada yada yada, do the damn thing, and then come back at Double or Nothing or something.
Yeah, that works too. Should be a great match though.
Mm-hmm. For the ROH World Championship, this hasn't been formally announced yet, I don't believe, but we're heading this way for sure. A title versus mask match. Chris Jericho putting up the ROH World Championship versus Bandito. Obviously, Scotty, I would have loved for this to have been a mask versus hair match, but based on those plugs for Jericho, I don't think he can spend that much money yet again. But what do you think about Jericho versus Bandito, title versus mask? Who do you think's winning, and why is it Bandito?
Yeah. Well, it has to be Bandito.
The whole gimmick doesn't work if he doesn't have the mask.
It's a shame there isn't like a Ring of Honor pay-per-view to build this match for instead of the AEW. Oh, wait a minute, there is.
Well, that's not 2 weeks away. That's a month away.
Okay. So,
you could do this match again and do it hair versus title.
No plugs.
Plugs. Follow me on Blue Sky.
No. Good bit though. Yeah, Bandito should win. Bandito should win. He not only should he win, he has to win because his mask is on the line. And if AEW unmasks Bandito, let's just call it quits now, pack it up, move on with our day, and everyone will say, "Oh, that's why the Lucha Bros left." That's where I'm ultimately
I
at.
didn't realize Bandito was a big El Grande Americano fan or whatever the fuck that was.
That was terrible.
The AI bullshit. Fuck that
very-
shit. I'm gonna put on record. Fuck that bullshit. The AI crap. Fuck. So dumb. Anyways, you were saying?
That was a week ago already. Damn. But yeah, Bandito should win. He should have won the first time, but it's fine. But as long as he wins here, it's okay.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think he should win. I think he should win. Not only win, Gravity should come out and beat up Jericho as well. I think Bandito's mom and sister should also come out and beat up Jericho as well.
I'm okay with like not
revenge.
watching Gravity wrestle personally, but
well, no, I'm not saying wrestle. I'm just saying come out with like a steel chair and. Like,
oh yeah, they'll come out to even. He'll come out to even the odds or something.
Oh yeah. Brian Keith. Well, he
seems like the learning tree is breaking up. So.
Yes,
based on Dynamite.
It does feel that way. I guess we'll talk about that here. It's not on Wikipedia, but I do remember that they're heading that direction. Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin defending the titles against the Learning Tree, Big Bill and Brian Keith.
That's a good match. I like that match. I enjoy that match. We hurt people. They win. Haha. You're welcome. That's a preview.
Yeah, obviously that match was originally supposed to be Lance Archer and Brian Cage. Brian Cage can't make it because of an injury from an indie show. Forget who was wrestling, but can't make it. Leg injury, I believe. So instead, they're subbing in the Learning Tree, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a fine little match. Do you have any thoughts at all about the transition that they have made with the Hurt Syndicate into wrestling heels? And sort of, obviously, the heel face dynamic has always been shades of gray in AEW, but
they should simply wrestle everyone.
I tend to agree.
You know why? Because they rule and everyone else drools. Ha!
I thought you were going to say because they hurt people. I was
they do hurt people.
Legitimately surprised you did not say that.
They do hurt people. And they are the best, my favorite part of AEW still. But
can we get that drop? Can we get that audio drop?
We hurt people.
Yeah,
we'll get it. Someone actually reminded me to get one, and then I proceeded not to. That you said or asked for. So doing good work over here, guys.
If anyone remembers what that audio drop is, please let us know.
I am sure I will be reminded by the time they listen to this, and I will have to get it.
There's also I have a note here that says Ring Post Radio Quarterly Dave's star ratings, and I have no memory of what this means.
Dear God.
It's like I don't know what question that was supposed to be. I know it was like a month ago when we talked about it. We said, "Oh, that's a good idea. We'll put it on the quarterly." And I don't fully remember what it was.
All right, no quarterly till you remember it.
AEW World Trios Championship. Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta defending those trios titles with rated FTR, Cope, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. But will they stay friends, or can they coexist? Because FTR is currently going through a sort of emotional startings of a breakup during their interview and then post-match where they're slapping handshakes away from each other and getting up all each other's grill at Collision. So not looking good for FTR, but will they be able to walk away with the trios titles? I guess we'll find out.
I'll be that guy. FTR should not break up. That would be very dumb.
Agreed.
I'm sure they won't. They should win. This should be the night of ending the Death Riders. I need to stress that now. We end the Death Riders and we save the company. I am honestly here for 2 matches. You haven't talked about them yet. Listen, I don't really at all want to see Cope be champion of anything. I've been very clear on how much I can't stand him these days. But maybe it's an Adam Cole type situation for Cope. Maybe if he's in a trio with FTR, I'll like it better. Because that was my original pitch when he was coming back. I said, they can win the trios belts. That would be better than whatever else, So
that only took a couple months.
Yeah, it only took a couple months in the worst world title match of company history. But yeah, we got there. Thank God. We got and a match where people got mad at RVD for the first time in his career. Like an incredible run, honestly. So yeah, there you go.
Well, the worst match in company history wasn't the same match that got our people
I
mad at
said the
RVD.
worst world title match.
No,
The
I'm
worst
saying they're two different
Oh,
matches. Two different
yeah.
matches.
No, I know that. It's just an incredible run by Cope since he's come back.
Well, let's see if we can turn it all around and get these
Do you
coexist.
think they should win?
Oh, yes. I fully think that they should win. I fully agree with you that I think Dynasty should be the death knell for the Death Riders.
Just put Willow and Marina in first round match on the show so we can really just beat them all.
That's actually a good idea. Legitimately, that is actually a really good idea. Is put Marina in
I
there
have those
and
once
do
in a
that
while.
match. Because I was thinking that could also just be a singles match, maybe like a hardcore singles match between the two, and that could be fun. But you could also do that as a opening match for the Owen. That could be good. But yeah, I think this would be a good idea to just like look. It's this thing also of like I think you I was gonna say you kill off all the Death Riders, all of them lose, and all of them are gone for like a month
or ever.
or wherever, and they break up completely.
Is Pac even here?
What do you mean? Yeah, he's here.
I haven't seen him forever.
He wrestled on Collision. If you watched it before Dynamite a couple weeks ago,
I don't watch full Collisions. I watch parts of Collision.
He was the opening of Collision Sunday, I believe, where they defended the titles.
Oh yeah. I didn't watch that.
Yeah, against
Dante. I don't feel like watching Death Riders. I just watch El Tiantes de Ari.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That was a great match. That Drilistico Beast Mortos match.
Yeah, that ruled.
That ruled. That would have been that probably would have been my match of the week. In fact,
sad. Now it's not tough.
Yeah, I think of another one, but that's pretty good. But yeah, I think the Death Riders overall should lose. So I guess we should save this to the main event, but we'll just throw it in here now. Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland, AEW World Championship. Continuing that thought process, I think all the Death Riders should lose. I think Swerve should win here. You talked about it at length before about how Swerve should definitely win. And I agree with you. Swerve should 100% win. And then defend the title against the winner of the Owen at All in Texas, whoever that may be. And maybe even lose to that person, whoever that may be. I don't know. I think it might be Adam Page, and I think that would be a fun idea. But what do you think about this match? It has to be good. It has to be great, right? It has to be a great match. I have no confidence that will be a great match, but Swerve adds so much emphasis into that. But this has to be a great match. We have to end this strong, for the love of God.
I've said this before, and I'll say it one final time. There is no one in this company that can be fit into in every which way. He has replaced Jon Moxley, Swerve Strickland. He has replaced everything that Jon Moxley once was in this company. You could put Jon Moxley once upon a time in any feud. He could win or lose. It wouldn't matter. It would not hurt him in any way. He would always be the most over guy in the match, the most loved guy in the match. Hell, if he needed to be the most hated guy in the match, he could be that too. And as we sit here and we think of his really past 6 months, he lost to Hangman. He lost to Bryan Danielson. He lost to Hangman Page. He lost to Bobby Lashley. He lost to Ricochet. And yet one win against Ricochet, and everyone was reminded, right, this is the guy. This is the guy to save AEW. He does an interview this past week that was excellent. Everyone should listen to it if you haven't. Where he is very open and honest about himself and his career and everything and what he's done. There is no one that you want to represent AEW more than Swerve Strickland. He is the ace, he is the guy, and he is everything that will save this world title. Because you know what he did last year at Dynasty? He didn't necessarily save it because Samoa Joe was doing fine, but he won it and brought the world title back up to a certain level, right? As his world champion. His reign was only like 128 days, and yet it felt like a year. That's how much he accomplished in that reign. Give him the world title back. Fuck the Everest gimmick, per Ryan Knightsey. We don't need that anymore. We don't care about that Darby Allin shit. Put the world title on Swerve. and right the wrong that you did last year with the All-In main event, the match that made the most sense. It still is the most over feud in this company somehow, despite them wrestling 3 times now.
Bitch, did I stutter?
It was great. Hangman and Swerve should 100% be the all-in main event. It doesn't even need a stipulation this time. It can just be the straight up great world title match that you know those two can deliver. Swerve has to beat Jon Moxley, and I'm going to go one step further. I think Swerve gets a great match out of this Jon Moxley.
Oh, you should kill.
I mean, in kayfabe, why not? Like he is. If he loses on Sunday, I might stop watching AEW. I'm not even kidding.
He should do the Swerve stomp with the cinder block.
Yeah. Like that promo he cut on Wednesday was fantastic. And with him ending with, "You're gonna stop playing Jon Moxley on TV." I was like, "You're damn right. End him." This needs to end with a bang because everything else up until this point in the Death Riders angle has been bad, stinky, poo-poo, shit, whatever you want to call it. It's been ass. Swerve Strickland is anything but that.
How many packs?
Oh, 6 packs of ass, buddy. Swerve is everything this company needs. And the funny thing is, the company's doing really good right now, despite the world title feud and the world title.
But just think about how much you can. It's turning right. The ship is being right,
Yes.
And then it's just like, you just take off.
You want to go into All In hot as hell. You put Swerve at the top of the mountain, and it makes any world title match make sense, by the way. Hangman makes sense. Ospreay makes sense. You can work your way to that for All In, and no matter what, you're going to be excited. Fuck, it could be Darby. They have all the history in the world. It could even be Darby. Now, Darby should not win this world title. He has to earn it back, okay? He has to earn that back. We're not handing out world titles anymore, Everest gimmick boy. Not happening. Swerve should win, and if he doesn't, I am telling everyone right now, I'm done watching AEW. That is how serious I am. I said it with Goto. In New Japan. I said he had to win, or I was done watching New Japan, and he won. So I'm doing it again. I'm doubling down. Swerve's got to win.
I fully agree. This has to be.
You're gonna stop watching AEW if you lose?
Oh no, I got places that could be at 8 p.m. on Wednesday.
I'm happy we brought that back around, baby.
I'm the certified freak over here. Freakazoid, of course.
Super freak.
Yes. I think this match is meant to certify that transition of Acehood from Moxley to Swerve. I think that is more of the meaning. If you want to look at the story, the meta story of this company and what the Death Riders meant and what Moxley's talking about, and they need something new. That coming from the former Ace transitioning to the now current Ace, that in this kind of match through the belt is the way to do that. And we can certify Swerve as the guy for at least the next several years, right, for this company. It's the right move. You got to do Swerve. Plus, we're going to have a lot more AEW pay-per-views to preview, and I can't do it by myself. So please, for the love of God, Swerve, get the win. Other match here, last match here for the pay-per-view announced. AEW Women's World Championship, Timeless Toni Storm defending against Megan Bayne. I think this is going to be a fun, good match.
What a fun debate online, depending on who should win.
Oh, I'll love to hear that. My opinion on this is that Toni Storm should 100% win, just because Megan Bayne is a nice idea, but I think there could be more fun at All In with Toni Storm as the big thing. That being said, I could see a sort of next big thing, Megan Bayne, Brock Lesnar-y sort of vibe with
I've
her.
Seen that pitched a lot.
Yeah, with her winning the title. That could be fun because then what that opens up for me, Scotty, is
it opens up 2 people winning the Owen and winning the world title All In, and it's the 2 people that should be in the conversation to win the title at All In,
which is
Chris Statlander
Oh,
and Willow Nightingale.
oh, I was gonna
The
say it
two
all. I
baby faces.
was gonna say it could also. I mean, if we want
Athena and
to,
Mercedes is happening. Let's not be.
that's
Let's.
true. That's true.
They're not here. Those two.
Yes, it opens the door for Willow and Chris Stat to overcome. I think Willow would
Which
be a
is what
better
we've been
story,
trying to spend the past year getting to. By the way.
and Willow would be that better story than Chris.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But
Not
yeah,
just a sentimental favorite, but as someone has, the babe with the power versus the next big thing, Megan Bain. I think that could be work. Chris Statlander also has like a similar look and vibe to Megan Bain. So I think that
that's why that was the first pairing between the two.
exactly. So I think Willow would be more fun in that regard. And we know that Willow can work with people similar to Megan Bain's stature. So I think Megan Bain, I think it's to be a way cooler, fun idea. But Tony Storm just got the title. This feels like it. Maybe that's
had it 75 times.
I know, but maybe that's the trap card that AEW is playing for me. Is the idea of like this is the first title defense for Tony Storm, new title reign after beating Mariah May after such a good match. We just want to continue it. Like I get it, but maybe that's the trap card. I don't know. What was the fun debate online about it? Was it just simply
just should Megan win? That's been kind of the debate. Should she win? It's a very unique spot that they have here. One that I feel like she fits into better than say, I don't know, Jade Cargill. Once upon a time. Just an idea. And I think for me, it is worth considering if the long game or not so long game, all in, however you consider that long game, is Willow winning the belt. I think having and everyone said the next big thing scenario. I have combined the two between next big thing and Brock beating Cena in the way he did. If you want to establish Megan Bain, you have her destroy Tony Storm. Because she's already no-sold the hip attack. It feels like you should go all in. I feel like if you're beating Megan Bain already, it kind of hurts her. And I feel like if you're putting her in the spot already, it's because you want to go big. I don't know if it will work, but that is the chances this division is willing to take. And I will do anything to get Willow Nightingale this goddamn world title. Because
100%.
Because we have to also understand Mercedes is coming around soon enough to win this world title. We've pushed it off long enough. We've given her every other title under the sun. But the world title is going to be Mercedes within the next year.
Probably.
Willow needs to have not only a title, but a reign. And I think, yes, she could beat Tony. I get that. But I don't know. I'd set up Megan to be the one she beats.
I think that'd be fun. I think Megan Bain would be a lot of fun.
I don't care either way. Like I'll be fine with it either way. I just hope they have a great match. But
yeah, it's a more fun choice.
It's a more fun choice, and I just want Willow to be champion.
Hey, can't disagree with that. So far, a week and some change away from the pay-per-view. 6,000 tickets distributed for this. Current setup is for 7,000. So there's
no change. The show would be on right now in a week.
Well, but this posting was 3 days ago, so that's.
I see.
Owned. Yeah. So by time the pay-per-view is done, they will probably beat that current setup and probably will
first
expand
pay-per-view
it.
in Philly, huh?
I believe so. They won't get to 10,000, obviously, but pretty good. I think I also saw that All In Texas had updated WrestleTix thing. 12,500 for All In Texas right now, with plenty of show left to go.
Where is that? Globe Life?
Yes, that is at Globe Life Field. So pretty good. They're currently set up for 18,000. It's big stadium, right?
Yeah, they fit 40.
Yeah. Yeah, so nowhere close to 40, but it's fine.
No, but if they break 20, it's a good day.
Yeah. What's a good number for that? 20, you think?
I think 20 and higher.
The
is
current setup
probably
is
the
18.
best bet because it's a baseball field, so you're gonna take off some of the stadium as is,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're not gonna open up the whole thing to a stage, and you can go with the big stage. Yeah, I think you got to get at least 20 for that to be a success.
All right. Well, I guess we'll find out. I mean,
That was a
also,
funny thing seeing this week, by the way. I
what's
don't know
that?
if you saw this, but people were talking about the WrestleMania thing. It's like on track to be the least of the past couple of years or something, or like since
Uh,
20.
Attendance wise, WrestleMania is down.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, because their prices are stupid.
And I think, we don't have to get into that conversation, but I think the common person's probably a little afraid about what the economy might look like in, I don't know, any day practically.
That and you know what? WWE's starting to get a little cold.
Yeah, it's interesting, because it's that. There's also a lot of chatter about how I've seen a lot of people throw around
Bad.
boring. I was boring as well. I don't know if that's
Most of the
worse.
build's bad.
I don't know if boring is worse than bad, but boring is not great for when it comes to wrestling. And I've seen a lot of people throwing boring around when it comes to the WrestleMania build this year, which is
I mean, it's
crazy because.
multi-man mania.
But what's crazy about that, Scotty, is that this is the year that John Cena turned heel, and a lot of people are like, "This build is boring." But I mean,
Mhm.
I don't disagree with it being boring, but it's crazy. But then it's also like at the same time, like AEW, like attendance wise, is starting to turn around. So it's like it's interesting to me that like it really reads to me like the WWE fan base, the ones that probably that were watching AEW, maybe went back to WWE, are all starting to be like, all right, I think I've started to have my fill. Let's start moving
Yeah.
back.
I
And I
did
think
say
Swerve and Adam Page could help, re-excite those sort of things.
I did say to you off the record, um, the end of last year. I don't know, not off the record, but not on here.
Not
So
recorded.
not recorded. That I left WWE's hot streak. Their expiration date officially was a Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble. And I still think that's going to be the case because again, Cena's still retiring for a year, so he's still going to sell tickets in every arena he goes to
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. We
Um,
talked about that 2025 is going to be sort of a wash
but
for
I
that.
think we're seeing it in real time now become a reality. Yes, they're going to still sell thousands of tickets, and while we talk about WrestleMania being down, they've still over 56,000 tickets per night.
Yep.
So let's chill the fuck out.
Yeah. Plus,
But like,
there's so many. We're like a month away.
yeah, right.
Well,
We're
sorry,
still,
not a month away. We're a couple weeks away. Sorry.
yeah, but still, like, they're gonna sell more, and they'll bump the prices down and stuff. So what? So that they pack it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I did say that I said them going and kind of tossing the Rumble in Saudi, I think, is their expiration date of being red hot,
Yeah.
and it sure feels like we're on that way. And for AEW fans, that's a celebration. For people that hate WWE, that's a celebration. Probably for the scene in the Americas as a celebration.
AEW fans and people that hate WWE is that that predator handshake thing.
Yeah, they tend to be the same.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
How do I
yeah,
correctly make that meme?
I don't think anyone's rooting. I'm not rooting for WWE to stay hot necessarily. I don't really give a shit.
Necessarily.
But yeah, I said it then. I said it to you at the end of last year when they made Saudi official. I said that's their expiration date.
Yeah.
And
Did you see
I think we're on our way.
Did you see that news about I think it's because of Netflix requesting it, they're planning to do a pay-per-view in India in 2026 or 27?
Yeah, I did.
It's like Netflix, you don't know what wrestling has tried countless times in the past several decades. Is trying to get that Indian audience.
They've tried
Yeah.
continuously. I don't I mean WWE will listen because I'm sure Netflix will be like, here's the money, go do it. And they'll be like, all right,
yeah,
your problem.
If Netflix is telling you to do it, then like, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah,
But
it's like when they do all these things, it's like, oh, you want to give us that money to do this? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's why AEW had a pay-per-view in whatever part of Australia they had, you know?
Yeah.
It's just how wrestling works. It's how everything works, actually. If people are getting paid a lot of money to do something, they tend to do it. That's how the Super Bowl gets bought. That's how the Olympics get bought. Like everything comes down to money.
That is literally what is happening.
bought,
That is literally what's happening in Atlanta right now. Like we're restructuring a lot of the downtown area, which is surrounding Mercedes-Benz, which is obviously where the Falcons play. And they're doing
Super Bowls.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff, and it already has started. Like we had, I think, the college football playoffs or the finals here. We have.
You have a Super Bowl yet?
We have the World Cup qualifiers. We have. I think we have a Super Bowl announced, not for a while though. I don't quite remember, but there was
You're
like
gonna
a
have an
lineup.
Olympics event there.
I don't know about the Olympics. But there was a list of like there was a list of like 5 things between now and like 2032 or something like that.
Yeah.
That Atlanta is trying to like do that same thing of get a bunch of money, take a bunch of money that we've made through films and bring in all these sports. The next step of that for Atlanta will probably be repealing, gambling laws and start doing sports betting and all that stuff in Georgia.
Oh, you don't have sports betting yet? We just got that for that reason.
Yeah,
last year.
We don't have sports betting legal in Georgia, which I understand as a way to make money, but it's also like the best man at my wedding is a therapist that deals with people with gambling addictions. So it's like, yeah, this is his livelihood, is dealing with people who are struggling, and it is very much these sports betting apps and everything are very much like preying after people. So the good news is my friend has a job for life. The bad news is that if they replace also sports betting and make a bunch of money from the government, Scotty, how much more do they need the film industry? The film industry is bringing a bunch of money, and we know that. I'm sorry, I'm going on diatribes that I'm sure people don't care about or don't want to hear, but I have a lot of opinions, as you can probably guess. All right, let's talk New Japan Sakura Genesis. They have a big time show on Saturday in Ryogoku Sumo Hall, but they also have a little bit of road to shows. They've had a couple already, but they have one in Yamanashi. Oh my fucking god, I can't even speak. Yamanasha Arena, I guess. And then also one in Korakuen Hall. This is going to be on Wednesday, April 2nd, Friday, April 4th, and the Big Time Sakura Genesis show on April 5th. The one April 2nd has a bunch of multi-man tags, but I do want to point out.
I need to see what word you were just trying to say.
Yeah.
Yamanashi?
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said Yamanasha.
That's what I said.
Eventually.
On this show, the main event that's interesting to me is a Hiroshi Tanahashi singles match against Shingo Takagi.
That's good. That's pretty fun.
It's a little interesting. There's also a special singles here, Yota Tsuji versus Kanemaru. That kind of tickles my fancy, but
all right, I don't know. Tickles your fancy, buddy.
Yeah. In Korakuen Hall, Mao is on this show. What? Okay, interesting. He's working Best of Super Juniors for
junior
sure.
Show. This is the junior Sakura Genesis one, right?
Yeah, in terms of the semi-main and the main, yes.
Yeah, they call it like the junior Genesis something. Like I saw them tweet.
Okay, I'll take. I mean, Jeff Cobb is
AKA an excuse to not put them on Sakura Genesis.
Yeah, what is this, Friday Night SmackDown? Yeah. So what's interesting about this is there's another Tanahashi singles match against Taguchi. So strap in, strap on, however you want to get excited for that. Get into it. But I am seeing that the opening match has DDT's Mao in here, which I'm looking at that as like 100% he's going to be Best of Super Juniors this year. Then
Kuroku's also DDT. I'm pretty sure.
Kuroku Yuya.
Okay, his name's Yuya Kuroku.
That's what I just said. What it's written.
I understand, but I said it the right way the first time.
Mad at
me. Don't correct me.
6 match. The semi-main event is going to be the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title match. Champions Fujita and Eagles, the Ichiban Sweet Boys, not to be confused with Ichiban Sweet Cast here on the Counter Network. Cheap plug. Are going to be defending the championships against Taiji Ishimori and Robbie X of Bullet Club. Thoughts, Scotty?
No.
Yeah.
I have none. The Ichiban Sweet Boys should win. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think Robbie Eagles, I think will be fun. Fujita Shimori could be fun, but I think at the end of the day, it's just like you want flippies, you want fun, fast action. I'm not expecting a title change at all. Main event, of course, is going to be the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title match. It's going to be a hardcore match: El Desperado versus Clark Connors. Again, I don't think
That's fun.
I think that's fun. I think that's going to be a very fun, great match. Hardcore match, Scotty. Do we think it's going to be WWE no DQ style, or do we think it's going to be, Despy is going to be inspired by a recent match he took and face Clark Connors in a lot of violence?
I think this can be a little bit of both. I think it's gonna be in the middle ground. It's not gonna go full death match like they would have called it something like that. But I think they can go pretty far with it and have a pretty entertaining back and forth. I think this is something they had. Was it Connors that in Despy that had a great brawl when Connors
Yeah.
first turned heel.
Yep.
So kind of embody that, bring some weapons into it. I think it could be really good. And feels like Clark's like one chance to actually do something since he's no longer partners with Drilla, and he deserves this opportunity. So yeah, should be very good. I mean, Despy's had a good underrated year, I think.
I think Despy is so underrated as a
Yes,
wrestler for the past
correct.
5 years. I've said
Yeah,
this
and he
before on the
still will
show.
be, and he
I've
will
said
continue to be.
I've said this before on the show is that he is so underrated. He's had the past 5 years, or I guess the 4 years, including this year, have been legitimately great in ring work from Despy, and it's damn, this guy's great. This guy's great. Let's just see more of him. It's the best of Super Juniors is around the corner, so I guess you can't necessarily write off the Clark Connors title change here. Just because some of
do
these
love to
tournaments,
do that.
a lot of these tournaments they like to change titles right before a tournament. But I don't think it's going to happen. That would imply then that maybe a Despy would be in the finals. I think you just have Despy win here, go into the tournament. Clark can be impressive. I think honestly, you need to bump up Clark a lot now that he's no longer with Drilla. You need to bump him up a lot in the War Dogs.
The title match is happening at Dominion again,
Mm-hmm.
unlike last year. So Desperado as champion makes a lot of sense, obviously.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of who that dance partner is going to be. Which maybe it's Mal.
Oh.
It's me. Oh, it's me. Let's talk about Sakura Genesis kicking off here with Young Lions, Daiki Nagai and Katsuya Murashima. Sure, that's fine. I don't think I've seen anything from these Young Lions. Now that I'm realizing,
I hear great things about Daiki Nagai.
All right, that's
Feels
good.
like the next great junior for them, I think.
Okay, all right.
So.
All right. Special singles match opening up the show. Yuya Uemura versus Sonata. Just 5 guys, I guess. Hontai, Chaos, all whatever group. Just Chaos, Hontai versus Sonata, the guy that's either War Dogs or House of Torture. No one really knows.
He's gonna be all show to Umino soon. Yeah, Uemura wins. We're building him up, and Sonata is not getting built up. Easy math there. Making this the opener also feels like a way to keep this short, sweet, and a win for Yuya against a former IWGP World Champion.
I'm just going to skip ahead just because of the sort of connections to a third match on the show, which is Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Shota Umino. Yuya Uemura obviously getting brought in because Tanahashi has actively stated that he sees a lot of himself in Yuya Uemura. And then you have whatever's happening with Shota, whatever's happening with Sonata. Shota has even stated that he wants to maybe even form his own group. He says there's too many people now in this just 5 guys Chaos Hontai team. He's probably going to split off. It's probably going to happen here. I'm sure Sonata will join him. Chase Owens will join him. And those are 3 people currently connected to Shota Umino and Sonata.
I would never watch one of their faction matches if they do that.
Yeah, I mean, Sonata and
Shota
Umino,
I don't watch Chase Owens as is, but Sonata and Shota Umino alone, oh, geez.
It's already a bad pairing.
Especially current Sonata. Ooh, oof. Shota Umino is turning heel in this match, and I think beating Tanahashi because Tanahashi is the easiest person to have him turn heel on.
I agree.
It feels like the way to officially end any thought of him being the future ace. Not that anyone needed a clue when they put Yuya Uemura with Hiroshi Tanahashi, essentially.
The president of the company.
Yeah, when they did like these face-offs and they keep doing these moments, but this feels like the official, okay, we're done with that. Now he's a heel, and I think that's fine.
I really agree. I think it's the right move, and we can finally move forward with something different with Shota Umino. Going back to the second match here, New Japan World TV title match. El Phantasma defending the title against Great Khan.
This show, man, right, is like the ultimate, like, oh, like some of this is good and some of this is holy hell, I don't want to see that. And this is one of them. I have no interest in this match. To be fair, I'm not here to say I had much interest in the first the other two. But Yuya Uemura and Sonata should be short, and I don't think Tanahashi really goes long anymore, so that should be short. This kind of leaves me in fear that they're going to go near the time limit, and I don't want to see that at all, personally. But hey, maybe you do.
I don't.
I don't.
Moving right along. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, Great Khan, such a guy that's just like I think like 10 to 20% of Great Khan's career is hot, and then the rest of it is like cold.
Might be high, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like such a guy that's like when he's hot, it's like he's hot, but like he is so cold most of the year, like 10, 11 months of the year probably. That it's just like
a title match between him and Naito last year.
Oh my god! And people thought I think if I recall, people thought Great Khan could win that. Yeah, I mean, just like put Great Khan with Shota Umino, and Sonata, just the group of a bunch of fucking losers. Sonata, Great Khan, Shota Umino. Jesus Christ. Get them away from throwing Chase Owens, for God's sake. Just 4 duds.
Just 4 duds. Once upon a time, Sonata wasn't a dud.
As champion?
No. I said once upon a time, he wasn't a dud being world champion. He was fine in his role. Everyone was fine with Sonata as just the middle card guy. Now, just 4 duds is fitting. Don't stop putting Chase Owens with them. Chase Owens is like another level of suckage.
Well, I would bring in Chase Owens in
because I don't watch Chase Owens.
Well, Sonata's like, hey, Chase Owens, you can join the War Dogs, and it's like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, that was that. You know what that was? That was called sabotage. He's like, how do I hurt the War Dogs? I add this dumb bitch.
I hurt them from within. Chase Owens.
Oh God.
All right.
I mean, to be fair, I think the Sonata fits are hilarious, so that alone at least is funny. Those fits killed me.
I also like you being like, there's like an element of it wait, why are you gonna put Chase Owens with these duds? Like yeah,
they deserve better than that.
Chase Owens deserves better than that.
No. Those 3 deserve better than Chase Owens. No. Don't get this twisted. They may be duds, but they are him.
Oh boy, we have fun here. All right, never open weight 6-man tag team title match, 4th match on the show. The team of Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Ren Narita defend their titles against Ishimori, Drilla Maloney, and Gabe Kidd. I mean, whatever.
That's a match.
That is
to be fair, this is a rivalry, so they made the rivalry with titles on the line. I am not interested in it, but it's happening.
Yeah, like the rivalry is happening sort of throughout this show. Well, not really throughout. I guess just too much.
Shout out to Big Huge.
I can't believe this guy is still wrestling. How old is he? How old is Yujiro Takahashi? He's got to be like pushing 100.
He's not that old. His body's just broken down.
He's not that old. His body just looks like that. 44 years old.
Yeah, my point exactly.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, who gives a shit about that? It's just whoever was left to form and make a 6-man team. Who cares? Never
first defense. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's move on to the 5th match. Let's get us started. Let's start getting us excited here, Scotty.
There's like 3 matches that excite me.
Strap your seatbelt in, rev those engines. Start
doing that morning prep video with the water.
Fucking turn into Ashton Hall. Fucking dump your head, rub banana peels all over your face because we're getting ready for the never open weight title match between Konosuke Takeshita defending his title with Ryohei Oiwa. Scotty, please rip off that tape, bandage to your mouth, and talk to me about Oiwa versus Takeshita.
This is what it's fucking all about. This is why we're here. This is the excitement of the show. 3 matches that interest me outweigh the matches that don't, which is everything else. And that's why I'm excited. That's why I'm here. This should be great. Gonna be tough to beat this from match of the night. It depends how much time they get because they are the 5th match on the card. But you give them 10 to 15 minutes, and we're gonna have one hell of a.
You give them a classic. You give them a classic Adam Cole, Daniel Garcia limit of 15 minutes.
This will be great. Takeshi's the man. Oiwa's the man. It feels like they're using Takeshita to prove, hey, is this guy gonna be ready for us? Right. They did it with Bolton Oleg first. He fucking hit a home run. Now Oiwa is going to do the same, and we're going to all be happy because we get to watch it. Woohoo!
Yeah,
this is great.
This is great. I'm getting my dessert in the 5th match. You know what I mean? Like this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm having dessert before the main course.
Yeah, baby. Takeshita rules are arguable rest of the year candidate already. Oiwa, a future star immediately. Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking strapped to my gills with this match. I cannot wait to see it.
You're strapped in, strapped on, strapped around, strapped sideways, strapped. You got all the straps.
Yeah. I look like I don't know what I look like.
Just don't. Wherever you're going, just don't.
Takeshita, I think we'll retain here. I can see a change here, but I think Takeshita. No, Takeshi's gonna win unless they want to be bold and have Oiwa face Tanahashi in Chicago. But Takeshi's
they're not because they're kind of selling that as a very big deal for that show.
Exactly. So Takeshi's gonna win here. That's fine. It takes away a little bit of the sauce, but this match is not about who wins, who loses. It's about us watching
who hits the hardest.
Exactly, Rice. 6 match IWGP Tag Team Championship. Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito defending their titles for the first time versus Jeff Cobb and Callum Newman.
Jeff Cobb's farewell? Question mark?
Question mark?
Feels
maybe.
Like it.
Sure. Yeah.
Remember, he's supposed to join the Federation.
Yeah. Apparently, he's already joined. Seemingly the Federation.
Oh, that's fine. Good way to end it. Him and Naito were kind of a thing for a couple of years there.
Yep.
So yeah. Did they face each other at Kingdom?
I
think they did.
I think they did. Yes.
One of the 2 Night Kingdoms.
I believe that was the match where Jeff Cobb's like leg exploded or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's full. I have no problem. And I'm not a big Callum Newman guy, but
he's got a history of Naito in his own way.
Yeah.
So that should be there's something
won't be
there.
That good, but it's fine.
No, Naito sucks nowadays.
Hey, easy. He's broken down. You gotta be respectful to the old guys.
Naito is a fucking jalopy. And Hiromu.
Right, Callum Newman's in this match. Enough.
Well, I'm not calling him. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm saying he's broken down and old like a jalopy.
Calling me Poppy.
What?
I don't know. I think that was like Enzo Amore's theme song. He said something about jalopy and then like Poppy.
What
realest guys in the room? How you doing?
He popped up recently.
Yeah, he's in like some theme song about can't cancel us.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
That guy, that artist, that was the same guy that did that Ben Shapiro rap video last year, I think.
Of course he did.
The fucking loser. He's also Canadian. That's the funny thing of it all. It was like a pro America song with Ben Shapiro, and the guy's Canadian.
All right, next match. You need to say this correctly, or you're no longer hosting the show.
Okay, IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. It is going to be Yota Tsuji, the Gene Blast Man himself. Sorry, I'm going through.
It doesn't say that on the sheet. Don't lie.
I know, but I'm going through puberty. Sorry. Yota Tsuji defending his title versus the King of Darkness.
Good shit.
Yeah, so Evil versus Yota Tsuji. This is good.
Money.
Some would argue it's money. He's hitting all the buttons. Yota Tsuji should also. I mean, they're not getting a lot of title changes here on this show. I don't think we've pitched a single title change on this entire show,
and that's okay. You don't need title changes at every show. Buddy.
I agree, but again, I mean, I guess
never open weight 6-man could change hands.
No, we don't. Oh, care. The 6-man, yeah, I guess
we don't care. That's why we didn't say it.
It'd be also a way to like elevate Drilla a little bit more, I guess. You know.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean,
your answer to that title change was who cares? So
yes, that's a good point. That is a good point.
There's your title change.
But I mean, I think Tsuji should retain because, of course, I'm the resident Gene Blaster here. But I mean, I could see a world where Evil gets the win.
Of course, you could. We only live in worlds where evils can win. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't be Ring Post Radio if we're not in a world where Evil could win. You picked Evil to did you pick Evil to almost win the bracket and then you didn't?
Yes.
Yeah. Like we live in a world where Evil's a winner. Okay. Anyone that lives in a world where he's a loser, goodbye.
That's not a world. That's not a world I want to live in.
No, absolutely not. The King of Darkness, Evil, is a winner. He's not going to win here, but he's always a winner in our hearts.
He is the mascot of Ring Post Radio Nights. He's the King of Darkness.
That's true. He is the King of Darkness. And we are the podcast of darkness. I don't know. I tried to make it work. It didn't work. All right, we'll see you guys.
No. Bring it back. Bring it reel it back in, folks.
I like that we still have the picture. Eat.
I like
All right, get me out of here. Yota Tsuji wins. He needs to win.
Yeah, I agree. Main event, 8th match, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Hiroki Goto, third defense versus David Finlay. I was going to make the joke of rock in a hard place between Yota Tsuji and Evil for me, but Jesus Christ, what a perfect rock in a hard place scenario with Hiroki Goto, David Finlay. A guy that, like, when Hiroki Goto won, everyone was like, and David Finlay wins the New Japan Cup, and then he beats Goto, and everything makes sense. Everything's right in the world. We continue because the logic is there, and it makes full sense. However,
fucking beat the draw, though, baby.
That being said, Hiroko Goto has turned out to be a fantastic draw for this company, and it's like, holy shit, I think we got to keep with Goto. So they are stuck with two great options, legitimately great options, no matter who you pick. It is a flip of a coin for me. Scotty, what do you think?
I hope they both have fun. That's where I'm at. Both these guys rule. Love me so. The problem is everybody does, in fact, need a rebel. But the Goto Revolution's got to live on. You know, like that's the problem we're at here. Look, any other guy, I'd be like, give the belt to David Finlay. It's time.
Yeah.
But Hiroki Goto, man.
Yeah.
He can't be stopped.
He shouldn't.
He shouldn't. He's got to go to Wrestle Dontaku and face someone, and then he's got to go to Dominion. Dominion might be his cutoff point.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, it shouldn't be, but it might be. And that's fine. But right now, you can't do it. And trust me, I love me some Rebel. The best international wrestler they got, by far. Shout out to Big Dave. You got rid of. Sadly, you should have kept that here forever. By the way,
my apologies.
Every time I reference one of them, we would flash it, but ruin the joke.
Give me a second. I'll help you out.
I love David Finlay. David Finlay's been one of the best wrestlers this year, I would argue. But Hiroki Goto, man. Yeah, shouts out to Bigger Dave. For anyone that I never got to explain this because you closed the show with it. But for anyone that's wondering, I call 3 people Big Dave, and it always confuses Ryan. I call the biggest Dave, which is of course Dave Bautista. He's always been number 1 Big Dave to me, but in recent times, David Finley has become Big Dave, and then of course Meltzer. Duh. So yeah, shout out to the Daves.
Beat.
Oh my god. But this match should be fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's actually one I don't want to know about going into it. Like I want to watch it unspoiled because I don't think I think any result is on the table, and I think that's exciting. Goto should win. Goto probably needs to win because he's the hot commodity right now, but I will not be upset if New Japan needs its rebel.
Yeah, like I said, it is truly like a coin flip. Like it is the perfect. This is where booking, where great bookers happen, right? Is like you've stumbled across a perfect situation, right? Goto, apparently a massive draw for this company, an untapped draw for this company. David Finley, a big rising star. The fans love him, and he is a guy that easily, logically could win here. But alas, Goto has turned out to be a draw. So it is like it's perfect. It's perfect. It's exactly what this company needs right now.
It's worth noting
Mhm.
the IWGP World Title will be defended a week later in
Yes,
Windy City, and David Finley already has a match against
Zack Sabre Jr.,
which could be one. So that's worth noting.
and we don't have Goto. And Goto will be defending his championship or not against a mystery opponent, whoever that may be.
So very intriguing, very interesting.
Got to be the Bishop Dyer, right?
Oh Jesus! Nah, he's an ML Dub.
ML Dub, baby. He's on Busted Open talking about ML Dub. Oh, Bishop Dyer.
Woo!
Yeah, that's a big old woo. Yeah, so that's the Sakura Genesis. That's a big time show for them. Even when I say it feels like that's the thing. Like this show, I keep calling it a big time show, and at the end of the day, there's like 2-3 matches that you and I are interested in.
So it's a big show.
But it's a big show, but really it's like it's the main event that's like doing so much for the show. Like it's a big time show of big time match. We talked about it last week, I believe, where it was, the Tokyo Sports Award match of the year last year. Great New Japan Cup final last year. So they're repeating it, baby. And I think the stakes are even higher and well kept up. So yeah, I'm fully excited for what this may turn into. I'm fully excited to talk about Sakura Genesis next week on Monday instead of Sunday, because of course AEW Dynasty will be on Sunday. So next week, of course, Sakura Genesis, Windy City Riot preview, and Dynasty, plus with whatever's happening in the world of professional wrestling. Scotty, give us your plugs. Give us your match of the week.
Thinking. Yeah. Oh, there's so many matches I watched this week. I did watch a lot this week. I'm trying to figure out what stood out the most. You know what? I'll let you go first. Let me ponder. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste time because I do have plugs to give to. So.
All right, perfect. Well, my plugs, of course, is going to be the patreon.com/countoutpod, $5 tier, of course, the only tier on the Patreon. I released finally the latest episode of Hustle Loyalty Retrospect, episode number 3, talking all about 2003 and 2004. Plus, because it was so late, I did a little bonus episode for you all where I read through John Cena's first WWE magazine interview, where he was the cover star, or at least he's the first cover star for John Cena in the Raw magazine in 2003. I believe April was the month of publication. So you have that. That's a free post for anybody. So if you want to just listen to me read an interview of John Cena from April of 2003, that's a free post. You don't have to. I don't even know if you have to sign up for the Patreon, because we do have free tiers. But at the very least, why not sign up? You can join the free tier, and I believe you can listen to that bonus audio. And if you like what you hear, get more of it by signing up for the $5 tier. You can do a 7-day free trial right off the gate. And you can listen to the first 3 episodes of Hustle Loyalty Retrospect, plus all the new stuff that's coming in the new month of April. Other than that, Blue Sky, Count Out, Twitter, all those social media platforms that are bad and taking our data and funding Nazis. Well, not Blue Sky, thankfully. Anyways, follow us there. You can see me post. I do the posting, I guess, but you'll see a lot more of it on Blue Sky. So that's the place to follow us. What else? We didn't really talk about it. I mentioned about it in the opening of the show that Champion Carnival for All Japan is happening very soon. I believe this weekend is when it starts. Jumping Knee Pod, one of the shows on our network, did a little preview for Champion Carnival. So if you want to listen to their thoughts on Champion Carnival this year, see what's happening, who's in it, who they think could win it. They go each individual wrestler of the tournament, talk about who they think, how they think they'll do, and what they expect from them. So if you want to get a full rundown, full preview again, that's Jumping Knee Pod, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Ring Post Radio. Give us a comment. Give us a like. We'd appreciate it. Wherever you get podcasts. I think that's all the plugs that I have for the amount of saliva that's in my mouth. So my last little bit here is it's going to be the match of the week, which is from 1972 over in England.
Unbelievable.
I am in the midst of preparing for another episode of The Ballot, Scotty. So I watched this match and it was legitimately great. It was Les Kellett versus Johnny. This is a Polish last name. I think it was Slejslaw. I don't remember how exactly it was. Super Polish. I think the guy is legitimately from Poland. But a legitimately great match. I went 4.5 on it, Scotty. A 4.5-star comedy match. Legitimately great. Like very funny. And I can't wait to talk about Les Kellett on a future episode of my other podcast, The Ballot. So we'll talk about him momentarily. But I think that's everything, Scotty. So I'll throw it over to you to give your match of the week and plugs. If he is there. He is. I'm just now realizing he is muted. Oh, no, he's back. Scotty.
Sorry.
Little off the draw. Little slow on the draw.
I had to pee. Apologies.
Everyone's got to pee in this town.
We're in a town? I don't think we're in the same town. All right. Good plugs.
I'm behind you the entire time recording.
It's been a long time since... That's terrifying. It's been a long time since you gave us a ridiculously geared match, so I appreciate it. It always pops me when you hit me with the 1970 something. But to be fair, that is for a project you're doing, so it's okay. So the one time it wasn't for a project, and you're like 1952, and I was like, all right.
I think I did 1968, and it was like the super early like Andre the Giant match. 1968, 3.5-star Andre the Giant.
Brother. Either way, I will give my stuff so we can get out of here. Plugs. youtube.com/@ScottEWrestling. I have plenty of content set for the month of April in my brain that I decided on today. I will be doing some flashback reviews of 3 major matches ahead of Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom 2025. I'll be doing the review for Mayu versus Shuri, IWGP Women's title match from last year. I will be doing Starlight Kid versus Azumi, their high-speed title match, the world-acclaimed one from 2022, actually, from 2022, and I will also be doing the Saya Kamatani versus Tam Nakano match from Stardom World Climax as well in 2022. I'll be doing 3 reviews as we build up to Queendom over the next couple of weeks, because those are the 3 signature title matches, and they obviously have a lot of history to them. So those will be over on the YouTube channel, as well as my podcast, 5-Star Joshi Show, always up every Friday. Like I said at the top of this show, the next 2 months are going to be pretty scene-altering months for Joshi. So if you want to listen, if you want to know, go there, as well as, of course, the JoshiInformer.substack.com. Me and Rob Goodwin of the Stardom Cast put that together each and every week. put as much information as we can each and every week on that. We review shows, we give news, and we do as much analysis as possible. You kind of got my analysis in there about Mina Shirakawa and a written based, obviously, in my podcast as well. So make sure you subscribe to that. And my match of the week. Oh, and for my YouTube channel as well. I was able to find him from the woodworks. I will be having Trent on for something very, very soon.
Oh,
Yeah, he's never gonna do full-time podcasting again. But I always find my way. So step one is getting him on one thing, and we'll see where we go from there.
he's got the bug.
Yeah, I gotta give him the bug enough, and you never know what happens, you know. But my match of the week is actually from today, technically. Nai Takahashi and Tsuruyama Yoko versus Takumi Iroha and Seika Akatsuki from Marigold Korakuen Hall show. Two rookies that will help build the future of Joshi, especially with all the change that's happening over the next 2 months. I think it's very important to point them out. So that is my match of the week. Get me out of here, Ryan. I am tired.
That is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Like I said, we'll be back next week. Again, a special start time. We'll be at Monday. I presume morning. I think we're both okay with that in the morning on Monday. So roughly 9 to 10, probably 9:30-ish for us on Monday following Dynasty. So until then, we'll talk about a lot more in wrestling and at that point in time. So enjoy your night. If you're a nighttime watcher, enjoy your day. If you're a daytime viewer, and enjoy your life. But most importantly, of course, enjoy your Taco Bell. Goodbye, everybody.